What if I told you that Japanese farmers have been growing a handful of seeds, seeds most Western gardeners have never heard of, that produce from June all the way through the first frost? No constant replanting, no babysitting, just one good April start and your kitchen stays stocked all summer long. I stumbled onto this by accident. I was at a farmer's market and spotted a vendor with the most extraordinary spread I'd ever seen. Tomatoes, sure, but also glossy purple eggplants, no bigger than your thumb, strange wrinkly green peppers, enormous vines draped in warty green gourds, and every single thing on that table came from seeds started in April. That vendor changed the way I garden forever. And today, I'm going to show you 10 Japanese seeds that will change the way you think about summer harvests forever. Here's what most people don't realize. Japanese farmers have been refining these exact varieties for centuries, some of them for over 1,000 years. Edo period agricultural encyclopedias were cataloging companion planting techniques and soil wisdom back in the 1600s, 300 years before modern horticulture caught up. Researchers have confirmed that several of these plants contain nutritional compounds that rival anything in a supplement bottle. But that's almost beside the point. The real point is that generations of Japanese home gardeners trusted these seeds not because of a study, but because they worked, season after season. And somehow, most backyard growers in the West are completely missing them. I didn't grow up with this knowledge either. My grandfather's garden was tomatoes, beans, and zucchini, same as everybody else's. Once I started digging into what Japanese farmers actually grew and why, I couldn't go back. Today, I'm going to show you 10 Japanese seeds that will change the way you think about summer harvests forever. Stick around because number 7 on this list is a leafy green so unusual that it was literally named by a sitting head of state. And it'll be ready to harvest in 30 days flat. And number 10 is so tied to longevity research that entire Blue Zone scientists have studied it. And you can grow it on a trellis against your back fence starting this month. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we post every week with practical, no-nonsense growing guides that'll help you grow more food, save real money, and actually understand what's happening in your garden. So let's get into it. Number 1. Shiso. I want to start here because this one changed everything for me the first time I tasted it fresh off the plant. There's nothing else like it. Japanese farmers have been growing shiso. They also call it oba for over 2,000 years. Perilla seeds have been found in Japanese pottery from the Jomon period. That's one of the oldest cultivated crops in the Japanese archipelago, sitting in specialty seed catalogs right under our noses the whole time. The flavor is extraordinary. Somewhere between basil, mint, anise, and something entirely its own. Japanese cooks use the green leaves as a garnish for sashimi, and that's not decoration, it has a purpose. The plant's natural antibacterial properties made it the traditional companion to raw fish centuries before refrigeration existed. Red shiso goes into umeboshi, the sour pickled plums that have been a staple of the Japanese diet for over 1,000 years. Here's how to start it in April. Surface sow shiso seeds, or barely press them to an 1/8 inch depth. They need light to germinate, so don't bury them. The critical step most people skip: soak your seeds for 24 hours the night before. Without that soak, germination is erratic. Start indoors in early April in zones 5 and 6, or direct sow outdoors in mid to late April in zones 7 and 8. Once nights are reliably above 45 degrees. You'll see sprouts in 7 to 21 days and can start picking leaves at 60 days. Space plants 10 to 12 inches apart and pinch the growing tips regularly. The moment shiso flowers, leaf production stops. One more thing, this plant will come back on its own every year if you let it. I haven't replanted mine in 4 seasons. Number 2, Japanese eggplant. If you think you don't like eggplant, you haven't grown the Japanese kind. The Western globe eggplant, thick skin, spongy flesh, bitter, is almost a different vegetable. Japanese eggplant, called Nasu, has thin skin, almost no seeds, tender flesh, and a sweetness that intensifies beautifully on the grill. Edo period farmers prized this vegetable so highly that it appeared in New Year's dream symbolism alongside Mount Fuji and hawks. The word Nasu is even a pun on the Japanese verb meaning to accomplish. That's the level of cultural reverence we're talking about. Start seeds indoors 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost on a heat mat. This is non-negotiable. Nasu will not germinate in cold soil. You need 75 to 85 degrees and expect 7 to 14 days. Early April indoor starts for zones 5 and 6 will have you harvesting by late July. Space plants 18 to 24 inches apart. Give them full sun, 8+ hours, and stake them early because fruit weight will pull branches to the ground. The Ichiban variety is your most reliable first grow. Slender, glossy, mild, and ready in around 60 days from transplant. Cook it simply. Slice, score the flesh in a crosshatch. Brush with miso and mirin. Broil until it blisters. That dish, Nasu Dingaku, will ruin you for grocery store eggplant permanently. Number 3. Shishito peppers. Portuguese traders brought peppers to Japan in the 16th century. And Japanese farmers spent the next few centuries doing what they do best, refining the plant into something entirely their own. The name means lion head pepper because the wrinkled tip resembles the guardian lion statues outside Japanese shrines. Roughly 1 in 10 is unexpectedly hot. The rest are mild, sweet, and smoky. That unpredictability is exactly why Shishito has become one of the most popular bar snacks and restaurant appetizers in both Japan and the West. Start seeds indoors on a heat mat in early to mid-April. You need 75 to 85 degrees and expect 10 to 21 days of germination, sometimes longer. Don't rush transplants outdoors before soil reaches 70 degrees. Space 18 to 24 inches apart. Full sun, light fertilizing every 2 weeks once established. Harvest when fruits are 2 to 4 inches long and still green. That's peak flavor and maximum yield. Leaving them to turn red concentrates heat and slows production. Blister them whole in a dry cast iron pan until the skins char, hit with sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. 5 minutes. Every person at the table will ask where you got them. Number 4. Edamame. The first written record of the word edamame appears in 1275 when a Buddhist monk named Nichiren Shonin wrote a thank you letter for edamame gifted to his temple. During the Edo period, peddlers walked the streets of old Tokyo selling boiled pods still on the stem. It was street food before street food was a concept. At izakaya today, a bowl of salted edamame arrives automatically with your first beer. That tradition has held for centuries. Edamame strongly prefers direct sowing. Roots are sensitive to disruption. For zones 7 and 8, direct sow in late April once soil reaches 55 to 60 degrees. For zones 5 and 6, start in biodegradable peat pots in mid to late April and transplant the whole pot without disturbing the roots. Inoculate seeds with soybean-specific rhizobium before planting. It's inexpensive and dramatically improves yield. Sow 1 inch to 1.5 inches deep, thin to 6 inches. The harvest window is everything. You have 3 to 7 days between perfect and overripe. Pods should be plump and bright green. The moment they yellow, the sugars have turned to starch and you've waited too long. Check daily. The Envy variety is compact and excellent for shorter seasons. Number 5. Kabocha squash. Though Portuguese traders brought squash seeds from Cambodia to Japan in 1548 as a diplomatic gift to a regional warlord, the name Kabocha literally derives from Cambodia, a phonetic echo of the trade route. Japanese farmers spent the next century selecting the plant until they had something almost unrecognizable. Dense, dry flesh with sweetness closer to chestnut than pumpkin, skin so hard it barely needs peeling, and a storage life that carried families through winter. On the winter solstice, Japanese families still eat kabocha to ward off colds. Historically, one of the only sources of vitamins available in the dead of winter. Start seeds indoors 3 to 4 weeks before your last frost, not earlier. Kabocha seedlings outgrow their pots fast, and root-bound plants never fully recover. Germination needs 70 to 80 degrees. On space vines 6 to 12 feet apart, They spread 10 to 20 feet, and there's simply no way around it. Days to harvest run 85 to 110 from transplant. Here's the step most people skip. Cure the squash at 80 to 85 degrees for 5 to 10 days after harvest. That curing period concentrates the sugars completely. A good squash becomes a genuinely great one. Give it one season and you'll wonder why you ever grew anything else for fall eating. Now, if you're finding this valuable and starting to realize just how much has been hiding in plain sight, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button right now. It helps this reach people who are tired of overcomplicating something as ancient as growing food. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that button and ring the bell. We're building a community of growers who believe that simplicity and working with nature will always beat expensive complexity. All right, let's keep going, because we're just getting to the truly remarkable ones. Number 6, Japanese cucumber. Cucumbers arrived in Japan from China during the Nara period, around the 8th century. And what Japanese farmers did over the next 1,200 years was methodically breed out everything inconvenient about the original plant. The bitterness, the thick skin, the seeds, the burping. What they were left with was slender, delicate, sweet, and impossibly crisp. The kappa, a mythical water sprite from Japanese folklore, was said to have an obsession with cucumbers. Kappa maki, the cucumber sushi roll, is named after him. A salt-pickled cucumber on a stick is still iconic street food at summer festivals across Japan. Start seeds indoors in biodegradable peat pots 3 to 4 weeks before your last frost. Germination needs 70 to 85 degrees and happens fast, sometimes in 3 days at optimal temperature. Trellis from the beginning. Japanese cucumbers produce straighter, cleaner fruit on a vertical trellis, and airflow dramatically reduces disease pressure. Water generously and consistently. Inconsistent watering is the single biggest cause of bitter cucumbers. Harvest at 6 to 10 inches. The Suyo long variety is your best starting point. Burpless, powdery mildew resistant, ready in 65 days. I've grown it every season for 5 years, and I have no plans to stop. Number 7, Komatsuna. In 1719, the 8th Tokugawa shogun attended a falconry expedition near the Komatsu River. Someone served him soup with a leafy green he'd never tasted. He asked what it was called. Nobody had a name, so the shogun named it himself, after the river, Komatsuna. Japanese mustard spinach, named by a sitting head of state and cultivated continuously in the Tokyo area for over 300 years since. It's also one of the easiest, most productive vegetables I've ever grown. Higher in calcium and iron than actual spinach, holds its texture when cooked, and has a mild flavor that pairs beautifully with miso, sesame, and dashi. Direct sow outdoors in mid-April for zones 5 and 6. Early April for zones 7 and 8. Seeds germinate at 45 degrees, so the cold doesn't slow you down. Plant a 1/4 inch deep, thin to 6 inches, and harvest in 30 to 50 days. Here's the all-summer move. Succession sow every 2 to 3 weeks and use floating row covers on hot days. Komatsuna bolts above 80 degrees, but consistent harvesting, cutting outer leaves and letting the center grow, extends it remarkably. The flea beetle is your main enemy. Row covers solve it. That's genuinely all there is to it. Number 8, Negi. Negi has over 1,300 years of documented history in Japan. It appears in the Nihon Shoki, the Chronicles of Japan, written in 720 CE. Think about that the next time someone calls green onions boring. Different regions developed entirely distinct Negi styles that persist today. The fat, long, white-stemmed Kanto type for grilling and simmering, and the thin, grassy Kansai type for garnishing ramen and cold noodles. The Shimonita Negi from Gunma Prefecture is called the king of Negi. Its fat, sweet white shank is so prized it's a protected regional specialty. Japanese folklore held that Negi's strong smell drove away evil spirits and disease. Grandmothers wrapped grilled negi in cloth and tied it around sick children's necks as a cold remedy. The compounds released genuinely have antiseptic properties. They were not wrong. Direct sow outdoors in early to mid-April across all zones. Negi germinates at soil temperatures as low as 45 degrees. Sow a 1/4 inch deep, thin to 6 inches for full-size growth. To develop the thick white shank, the Japanese prize transplant seedlings into 6-inch deep dibbled holes and hill soil around the stems 2 or 3 times during the season. Use fresh seed. Onion seed viability drops sharply after 1 year, and old seed is the #1 reason people give up on Negi. Baby scallions are ready in 30 days. The full Shimonita-style experience takes 120 to 140. Start both. One for now, one for later. Before the final one, let me name 3 things I watch most gardeners, including past me, get wrong every season. The first pattern is starting everything on the same date. Negi and Komatsuna germinate in cold soil and go out early. Nasu and Shishito need a heat mat weeks before that. Respecting those different windows is most of the actual work. The second pattern is skipping the trellis. Cucumber and Goya produce dramatically better on a vertical structure. Plants grown on the ground rot, develop disease, and produce a fraction of the fruit. It's not optional. The third pattern is treating the harvest window like a suggestion. Edamame, cucumber, and Goya each have a narrow window where they're perfect, and they move through it fast. Once a week is not enough during pike season. Daily is right. That habit is the difference between abundance and a pile of overripe mush. And here we are at number 10, the one I saved for last because it represents everything we've talked about today. Goya, bitter melon, Okinawa's most celebrated vegetable and arguably the most misunderstood plant on this list. Okinawa is a blue zone, one of a handful of places on Earth where people routinely live past 100, where people in their 80s are still gardening, still cooking, still climbing hills. The researchers who have studied Okinawan longevity find Goya in the diet again and again as a constant. It was introduced to the Ryukyu Kingdom from China and Southeast Asia over 300 years ago, and it became so central to the culture that May 8th is now officially Goya Day in Japan. The vegetable was virtually unknown on mainland Japan until the 1990s. A television drama set in Okinawa changed that overnight, and now it's everywhere. The bitterness is the point. In traditional Okinawan thinking, bitter foods cool the body in summer heat. Researchers confirmed that Goya contains 3 times the vitamin C of lemons, plus compounds that support blood sugar balance. The plant rewards every bit of attention you give it. Start seeds indoors 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost on a heat mat. Goya is tropical and will not grow in cold soil. Before planting, nick the seed coat with nail clippers on the side, not the pointed tip, then soak seeds for 24 to 48 hours. That preparation is the difference between germination in 3 to 5 days and seeds sitting there for 3 weeks going nowhere. Plant 1/2 inch to 1 inch deep, space plants 12 to 18 inches apart, and build a trellis that can handle 12 to 16 feet of vine. Full sun, 8 hours minimum, and water at the root zone, not overhead. Harvest when fruits are 5 to 8 inches, shiny and firm. Check every 2 to 3 days. Once the skin softens or starts to lighten toward yellow, you've missed it. The signature dish is Goya champuru, an Okinawan stir-fry of bitter melon with island tofu, egg, and pork, finished with bonito flakes. The word champuru comes from a Malay word meaning to mix, and that mixing of cultures, ingredients, flavors, traditions is exactly what Okinawa has always been. Open to what comes in, adapting it into something new, keeping the old wisdom underneath. That's the thread running through this entire list. Shiso, grown for 2,000 years. Negi in an 8th century chronicle. Eggplant, a shogun said, was lucky to dream about. A squash named after its trade route. A bitter gourd from an island of centenarians. All of it starts in April. All of it harvests all summer long. All of it asks nothing more than the right timing, a little attention, and the willingness to grow something your grandfather never did. I've been growing these plants for years now, and I genuinely cannot believe I spent the first half of my gardening life without them. Don't make that same mistake. If you learned something today, hit that like button. It genuinely helps other growers find this. Drop a comment below. Are you Team Shiso, Team Goya, or Team Negi? I want to know which one you're starting first. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. The garden is waiting. April is right now. Go get some seeds in the ground.